extent we can use other people's, other agencies' money, whatnot, those are opportunities to look for. We talk about doing more bike lanes and more shared lane markings, another 6 miles of streets, and to do bike boulevards. We've got 3 more that we'd like to suggest: 17th Street, Farnham, and Avon on the north of Crosse. And your long-term improvements, this is the stuff that's going to take some time to plan. So some of the planning we can start for these right now, even though we're not going to build them right away. But we'd like to complete the Riverfront Trail for one, and the rest of the bikeway network, and some major intersection improvements, including the one down at 1461 in Wisconsin, at Marvin Cooley. That intersection is crazy. Yes?
On the last one, could you explain bike boulevards?
Bike boulevard, okay, I thought maybe I just did it personally. Bike boulevard is to take a local residential street and that parallels some major streets. And it's really nice for riding each block by block, but when you get to a major intersection, you can't get across it. And so if you put signals at all those places, which would cost a lot of money, number one, but number two, when you put the signals there, then the cars start going up and down that street. So like we could put a traffic signal at King and West, and that would help people get across West, but also help cars get across West. And so then more people will be driving up and down King, which would not be what the people on King want, and it's not what we need to do. So the idea is to design them in such a way that when you come to places like West and other intersections, that you design it so that a bike can get across easily, but cars can't. So you might put a median with a brake that a bike can get across, or putting in something called a chicane, which moves the cars, makes the cars turn this way, but the bikes can go through. And each one is designed differently as you go along. And so what that does is give a way for bicycles who don't have a lot of confidence, families, people who haven't ridden a lot, to be able to get out there and ride. About 1% of the cyclists are really good cyclists, what I call the head down, butt up cyclists. There's another 7%, which are pretty strong and confident. They'll get out there and they'll ride on bike lanes and they'll ride on city streets. But then there's another like 60% of people out there who would like to ride, but they just don't feel comfortable. They don't feel safe. And those are the people we're trying to reach and bring in. And there's like another 30% are just no way, no how. And that's okay. My wife was one of those, and I've been married to her for 50 years, and we're still going strong, you know, but that's, you know.
If you're not young and strong, you don't.
You have to decide who you're designing for and how you're designing. So let me finish up by doing a little thing from TV, late night TV. Top 10 recommendations. Number 10, let's start the planning for a continuous riverfront path. We've got holes in that path, major holes. West of Copeland, where you've got the industry, some of those places, even places downtown here where hotels said, no, we don't want bikes out there. Yeah, we want bikes out there. So to do those kinds of things to complete the path. Number 9, let's start designing that stupid intersection down there on the far south end there to see if we can't do something to make that work, so that when the state gets the money for it, we can tell them, yeah, this is what we want to do. Work with the state, but have our people start planning that right now. Number 8, is there anything we can do to reduce speeds on the, you'll notice on the pedestrian map, we have dots where, circles where there are major pedestrian problems. We also have corridors. These are the 2 major corridors for pedestrians. They just can't get across on any of these streets, or many of the streets. Are there things that we can do to reduce the speeds on Losey and on West? One of the things is possibly just time the signals for the speed we want cars to go at. Interconnect them, maybe put up a sign that says, signals time for 30 miles an hour, dummy. Whatever things to get people to go at a more reasonable speed on those streets. Number 7, let's begin work on some of those other bike boulevards. Start planning for 17th and Farnham and Avon. Number 6, we've got in the Lakefront Trail as it comes down south, as it gets to Gunderson Lutheran, there's no way past on the east side there. We think we've identified a way of doing a trail that comes up that slope and then connects into the local street system south of there. Let's start doing that. Number 5, we've got major curb ramp, tripping hazards, sidewalk gaps that we've identified when the people went out with their smartphones. We've got them mapped now. Let's start working on those. Number 4, let's begin with our King Street Bike Boulevard. Let's get that work underway. Number 3, there's some critical ped crossings, signs, signal devices, things that we could do right away to make streets easier, places where you can just identify signals, where the signals can identify that there's a bicycle there, things of that nature. Number 2, let's sign at least our downtown streets that do have bike lanes. In the center, where we do have the bike lanes, let's sign them so people know where they're at. And number 1, appoint a bike ped coordinator. So that's a real quick and dirty analysis of all these different parts here. Our goal, remind you, is to achieve gold as a bicycle-friendly community, recognize the Crosse as a walk-friendly community, and achieve the vision of a walking and bicycling-friendly community for transportation as well as recreation. With that, I open it for comments, questions. You have comment forms.